What up, YouTube? It's your boy Trucker States, back here with another video again. So this is gonna be a quick video, not too long. This video basically is about how to survive at trucking school. I know you guys see the title already, so this is self-explanatory. So the first thing I recommend is, if you smoke marijuana or anything like that, any illegal substance, make sure before you start filling out applications and before you actually head out to go to the school that the company provide, or even if you're paying out of your own pocket, if they have a drug policy at these trucking schools, which most of them do, because you're going to be operating their equipment and they're responsible for their equipment. Like, you're going to be driving their trucks and stuff like that. So majority of them, I think all of them, you have to do a drug test. It don't matter if you're going through a sponsored training by the company or if you're paying out of your own pocket. Now, I could be wrong. Some of them might not do a drug test at some of the companies that you, not the companies, but the trucking schools where you pay out of your pocket. I'm not sure about that, but I know a lot of them, you got to take a drug test, before you even operate their equipment. So make sure that your system is clean, that you don't have any illegal substance or anything in your system, because you get into, if you get on that Greyhound bus or a plane or whatever transportation that you use, and you're wasting your time, traveling, you haven't, went sober and cleaned out your system. So I just say no to drugs, and you quit smoking, whatever. Just stay away from it once you even get out of school, because illegal substance and commercial vehicles and a DOT, it don't mix. Drugs is another way that you can lose your license. It can be a career ender. So, and if you get into a crash and you kill somebody, and they're gonna automatically drug test you, even if you wasn't high that day. This just hypothetically speaking. Even if you wasn't high that day, they can add extra charges just because you have drugs in your system. But let me stay on topic though. Number 2, practice test. Before you go to the school and stuff like that, I recommend that you try to get your permit test. I apologize. I recommend that you go and get your permit first if it's possible. If you don't get it first, it's fine, it's cool. Some companies, if you're going through a sponsor company or the school, they're going to help you get your CDLs anyway. But the reason why I recommend, trying to at least get your permit or at least study before you go to the school, it makes it much easier for you. Because when you go to these trucking schools, that first week, I'm going to just stick with Swift. I'm not going to go to all the other schools. I'm gonna stick with Swift on this one topic. When you go to the trucking schools and stuff like that, the first day you most likely going to test out on Thursday or Friday when you go take the test to get your permit, and you basically got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to study, and some of them make you take it on a Thursday, depending on how they have it set up with the DMV in that state. But Monday, you're not going to really have a full day to study, because Monday, you're going to be doing your drug test. You're going to be doing the paperwork that's needed of you for SWIFT. And you're going to be doing your drug test, and you're going to be doing your physical. So, you're really not going to have that much time to study on Monday at school. But you should also be studying after school. You know, studying after school. That first week, you should be just studying. And that's why I recommend that you at least start studying before you go to the school. That way, you already done studied, and you're not pressured for time or anything. So, once you get to the school, if you have your permit, you're already ahead of the game. Even if you start studying early, you're ahead of the game. I started studying like 2 weeks before I even went to the school. So try to study or get your permit before you go to the trucking school, because if you fail all 3 times, I think you got to wait 30 days in most states. Illinois, you got to wait 30 days. And then if you fail 3 more times during the 30 days, you gotta wait, I think, a year after that to take your test, or 6 months or something like that. But you shouldn't fail it that many times, though. That means either you didn't study. So study before you go to school, or at least get your permit before you go to school. The next thing is money. You're gonna need some money to survive those. I would say the minimum is 4 to 5 weeks at school. You're going to need money to survive those 4 to 5 weeks if you're not going home after school. You know, some people just get lucky and go to a school that's closer to the house, so they still go home. But if you're traveling miles away from the house and getting on the Greyhound and stuff like that, you want to make sure that you have some money before you go to school. They have complimentary breakfast at most of the hotels for SWIFT that SWIFT sends you to. So that's another good thing. But you just want to make sure you have your own pocket money, because most of the hotels, they're not going to serve dinner or anything like that. So you want to make sure you have your own money. Respect the hotel policies. That's the next thing. Because when I was at school, I seen people get kicked out of the hotel. And if you get kicked out of the hotel, you know, SWIFT will kick you out of the academy, and they would just just throw away your paperwork, and they'll take you off their out of the school, and they won't even bother with you anymore. You won't be a part of SWIFT or have the chance to join SWIFT, because when you're at the school, you're technically you're not a SWIFT employee yet until you go to orientation. They just paying up front for you to go to school, if they're paying for you to go to school. So make sure you have money, and respect the hotel policies. I know most of the hotels, they don't want you to drink at all at the hotel. So I say respect the hotel policies, and listen to your instructors also, and ask questions. This is when you're at the school. Just listen to the instructors, ask questions. You're mostly going to be going over most of your bagging maneuvers and the pre-trip. Oh, this is another quick tip that I got for how to learn your pre-trip. Because after you get your take your written test, now you really got to study for your pre-trip. Now, you don't want to play games with that pre-trip. As soon as you get your CDLs or something, not your CDLs, but as soon as you get your permit, immediately start studying for your pre-trip. You want to go directly to your pre-trip. So if you take the weekend off after you got your little permit, because you've been working hard all week, that's fine. But that next Monday or Sunday night, you need to start studying that pre-trip, because time is going to go so fast, and there's so much to remember on your pre-trip. There's people who did a great job on the yard and did good on the road while they was before they went and took the state exam to get their license. They passed all that, but they didn't really study that hard on their pre-trip, and they had to come back and take the pre-trip again once they failed. I'm talking about when I was at school. You know, the pre-trip, man, I heard of a lot of people failing it, like the first time, because, you know, it is a lot to remember, but you just got to make sure that you study. The way that I learned the pre-trip, we used to, before the class would start on the yard, they allowed us to actually do pre-trips on the truck. So I would learn the parts by looking at the parts on the truck, and then they gave us paperwork of each part that's on the truck and what to look at when we're doing our pre-trip. What I did was, instead of holding that paper around all day at school, which could be kind of like in a way at times, you know, you don't want to be walking around with the big paper in your hand while you're sitting on the yard and stuff like that. So what I did was, I took the packet that they gave us for the pre-trip, I wrote the pre-trip down on flashcards. I wrote the name of the part, and I wrote the definition of what to look for. Like, you know, I put your grill, you know, the pitman arm, the steering gearbox, stuff like that. I'm not going to go down through the pre-trip because it's long, but I just wrote down everything we supposed to say for the pre-trip. I wrote it the exact way that it was in the packet for the pre-trip. I wrote it on flashcards. So that way when I was at school, I was not only studying after I got out of school, I was studying while I was at school on the yard. I'm talking about when you're waiting for whoever on the truck to finish doing their backing maneuver, because you're going to be taking turns and stuff like that. So I just used the flashcards, and I just studied for the pre-trip off of flashcards. Get you some flashcards. And what I did was, I would pick a section out of the flashcards. I have a real good memory, so I would read like 5 things and just keep reading it, and then I would hide the cards from myself, and not like literally hide them, but I would like put the flashcards where I couldn't see them or whatever, and those 5 things I would try to repeat it without looking at the flashcards, and that way I know if I'm retaining the information. So that's how I studied, and it made it much faster. I aced my pre-trip. I went right through it. I was going through my pre-trip so fast, man, because when I did the state exam, the guy let me pick what part of the truck I wanted to pre-trip. I think maybe because it was hot and he just wanted to get out of the sun and be on the truck. So he was like, just pick any part and we're going to go for that. I did did under the hood, and did the tires. I knocked all that out of the water with no problem. So I think for myself though, I'm gonna get the package and get a pre-trip package or something, and I'm gonna try to restudy it again just to refresh my memory, because it's been about a year since I really looked at that pre-trip package. So that's just another quick tip. I think that's about it. And best of luck to you guys at the school. Who's in school now waiting to get your CDLs. Or congrats to the guys who just got their permit. I know I just seen Kevo. I just seen him do a video on him getting his permit. Y'all need to check his videos out too. His Greensboro Kevo. Check his channel out too, man. He's starting to do videos too. He just got into the academy, and I just seen he just got his permit. So that's just my little quick tip on how to survive trucking school. If I think of some more stuff, I'll just drop a video on it. But other than that, man, that's it. I'm out. Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. And I am out. Peace.